where it happened?
So many people have reached out to me and said, "Hey, mate, where'd you get the inspiration for the 9A's?" And it was such a weird thing because at the time I was going through a little bit of a creative. I hit a bit of a creative wall, so to speak. And I was a bit like, "What am I going to do next?" And then I was just scrolling through my Snapchat and those filters were available, readily available. And immediately, like I didn't even think twice. Every time the new filter came across, I was like, this is going to be this bloke and he's going to speak like this. Yeah. It was almost as if I had like a voice in the back of my mind that was just pushing me towards it. Like I felt like I had like this creative energy inside of me that was like sort of using me as a puppet. Because it was almost like I wasn't coming up with the ideas. It was really strange. It just came very intuitively.
If you want to go delve down a path, there's a lot of actors and stuff that speak of this, and this is where you have that occultism in Hollywood and acting and stuff like that, where they basically, you go watch a bunch of interviews, but there's, you know, big actors and stuff like that say that they learn their lines and they're almost channel, like it's almost like something is in them as the hand that's sort of controlling them. And you know, it's not really them, like something else is sort of comes over them and they're able to just be directed in a certain way, and it's just like that's where it's got to go. There's just no...
Well, it was bizarre for me because after seeing the initial feedback in the community for the actual Snapchat series, I had I just had like a bit of a soul-searching moment. You know, I went for a bit of a walk, a bit of a wander, and I walked to I was just walking down my local beach. I stood there in front of the waves, watching them majestically crash along the shore. And
did you really?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
But I did have the thought. I can't remember exactly.
You're lucky, because if I saw you doing that, I would have fucking turned this shit into American. Just went,
no, mate. Honestly, if you did not throw a rock at my head, I would have been disappointed. But no. So I had a bit of a thought, and I sort of weighed up my own options, and I said, hey, look, like, what can I do really, really well? You know, I tried to break down. I did like a pros and cons list for my own sort of how I feel about my own sort of skill set as a performer. And I said, you know, I do voices very well. I can do a lot of different voices. I can do a lot of different impressions. How do I utilize this skill set and create create something that is able, for me, that I'm able to sort of, I guess, showcase what I'm best at. And that's why I sort of thought to myself, wouldn't it be great if I could create a cartoon? Because not only am I then not limited creatively, but then I can sort of utilize my strengths and keep building on that. Yeah. So that's essentially what I did. And then I became consumed by that idea. And, you know, every morning that I wake up, I had a new idea for another character or and ever since that moment, I've just been sort of writing notes and writing almost daily, just trying to accumulate all this inspiration that I've got in my head and just put it onto sort of a document or a paper, because it's been non-stop, and it's crazy. I almost feel like these characters that I've created have become like my children.
Yes, you know, and the way that you were speaking about them yesterday, we were talking about it, and you had a backstory for everyone. Yeah. And I know that maybe towards the end of last year, I was like, well, for one of the characters that I do, Cunspiracy, I'm sitting there and going, I have all these little bits and pieces about his life in my head that I sort of refer to throughout the show. I'm like, maybe I should sit down and actually figure out who the fuck this guy is. And I went through and I sort of wrote out his whole life and stuff like that. But you've done that with multiple characters. And the way that you were speaking about one of the students that are at the school, I don't know what his name was, you said I can't remember. Was it Tommy Roberts or Tommy Roberts? Or so? Like, that just sounds like it's a real person to me already. Like, it's so believable.
Well, that's always been a major
Tommy Roberts
with my own skill set. Like, I know what I'm bad at, but I also know what I'm good at. And one of the things that I am good at is I've always been very good at character acting. I felt a lot more comfortable as a character than I have myself. You know, sometimes when I'm doing an impersonation, I almost don't want to break it, because I feel like I can be funnier and I'm far more comfortable as a character than I am myself. Yeah.